Hi everyone, we're about to end our week 1 of our Worry Less Challenge. Thank you so much for all of you who have emailed me or given me your feedback or insight on how you're doing. I love knowing that you've been tracking and the insights that you've gotten, so thank you so much. So today ends our first week of our Worry Less Challenge. So I'm just going to kind of recap what we've gone over and let you know what's going to come for the upcoming week. So this week we've really been just observing our worry thoughts, and let me explain the thought behind that. So what I've been guiding you with, or the practices that I've been sharing, have been coming predominantly from two camps. One is called CBT, so cognitive behavioral therapy, as well as mindfulness. And CBT really basically is saying that your thoughts create your outcome. So it works with people to formulate, kind of retrain our thoughts, which is what I've been sharing with you. Creating new neural pathways is essentially the goal that we're trying to get to. And then mindfulness is what you're cultivating by doing these things. So by observing, by logging, we wrote down what tends to be our triggers when we have those worrisome thoughts. And then we started to challenge them by asking, are they true? Are these accurate? Where are they coming from? So just really starting to question them instead of just being unconscious to them and letting them guide us. So essentially, when you have an emotion, maybe like a heavier one, you want to allow it to go through you instead of you going through it. They're going to be very different experiences. And so the third part of our observe, challenge, and then the last part, there's 3 parts to what we did this week, is love. And so a lot of time when we experience an emotion that we wouldn't necessarily maybe put on the positive spectrum, like joy, happiness, all these good feelings, maybe when there's anger or sadness or worry, a lot of people want to close their door on it or just rush through it, or even beat themselves up for experiencing, anger or sadness or worry. But we're going to try to do a different practice, and the different practice is loving that feeling. And the reason being, because the more you can accept it and integrate it into who you are and allow it to be there, the more that it'll move through you instead of you moving through it, because you're creating space for it. You're allowing it to be there, and you're not vilifying it, you're not judging it, and you're really going to get to a place of just more peace and serenity. So oftentimes when I ask people, what's the opposite of worry? So I'll let you kind of ponder on that question for a little bit. Most people say, let's see what you would say. Most people would say calm or serenity or peace, and those are definitely all parts of it. But the opposite of worry is mindfulness. So the more mindful you can be, usually the less worrisome thoughts you have. So the antidote for anything you're ever experiencing is to do the opposite. So in this case, worry, the opposite is mindfulness. So that's what we're cultivating, and that's essentially what's going to help you kind of move to the other side of it. Now, again, there's nothing wrong. We're not vilifying worry, but sometimes it can cause a lot of anxiety and can cause a lot of uncomfortableness. So what I want you to do to start cultivating more of that love for worry this week is I want you to think of it as a 3-year-old. So every time you have a worrisome thought, I want you to think of this 3-year-old, pulling at your leg, trying to get your attention. Now, if it was that 3-year-old, you wouldn't just push her away. You would stop. You might get down on their level. You could connect with him and her, and you would just see what they need, right? And that's what I really want you to put into practice this week. I want you to think of your worrisome thought as a 3-year-old. So you're going to sit with it. You're going to just allow space for them to see, what do they have to tell you? What is it that they need? Really start to pay attention to those needs and start creating, much like you would with a 3-year-old, kind of a soothing voice. In this case, a soothing inner voice. You're going to say, oh, this is just one of my many moods. I'm going to allow it to just work through me. I'm going to sit with it. I'm going to hug it. I'm going to love it. And I know this may sound strange, but you've probably heard the saying, whatever, okay, let me think of it now. Whatever persist basically is coming from resisting. So whatever you resist, persist. There's the saying. I knew it would come. So whatever you resist is going to persist. So in this case, if you're resisting the worrisome thought and you're trying to just shove it away, or you get frustrated that it's even there, the bigger it's going to be. The more you can sit with it and allow it and just remind yourself, oh, this is just a healing flow of emotions. I feel joy, I feel sadness, I feel worry. You're not judging it, you're not vilifying it, you're just gonna allow it to flow through you, the more it actually will. And I promise if you put this into practice this week, you will start to worry less, because it's not, the worry is constantly trying to get your attention. So allow it to get your attention. What is it there to share? I know some of you commented that money was a big one. A lot of you worry about money. So really sit with it, put it on paper. What is it that you're worried about? Is it true? Remember our second step. What can you do about it? And that panic might creep up. Okay, what are our options? How can we work through this? Just like you would with a child, so just allow it to be, like, start to question where it came from. What is it trying to share with you? Are these old patterns of beliefs and thoughts? How can you integrate it? How can you start coming up with maybe a plan or a second option, and really just dive in? Is this an old childhood pattern? Is this just an unconscious thought that I haven't challenged before? Really allow it to expand you and start to grow you in a certain direction. So remember, this week is all about logging, observing your worry thoughts, because that's going to start to create these new neural pathways. Remember, everything I'm getting is coming from cognitive behavioral therapy as well as mindfulness, and all these practices are going to help you reach your goals of worrying less. So you want to observe and log, start to question those thoughts, and this week I want you to really start loving it. So observe, challenge, and love. And love this week is to think of your worrisome thoughts as a 3-year-old, hold them, love them, sit with it, see what it has to say, see what new insights you get from just being with it. Allow that healthy emotional flow to go through you. And then tomorrow, stay tuned for an email where I'm going to be now guiding you week 2. Remember, this is a month-long challenge. Week 2, I'm going to be guiding you on how to create a new worryless vision. So excited to share that with you tomorrow. Remember to these practices are meant to be cumulative. You continue to build one on the other so that you can achieve your goal of worrying less. Excited to hear your insights for this week. And so proud of you, all of you that have held on for this week and started to see changes. I know that you'll continue to see more and more the more time and attention you give to this challenge. So I hope you have a beautiful Sunday, and excited to share more in the upcoming week. Take care.